Hello everyone, my name is Yamina Gatri, teacher of English. Today we are going to deal with Lesson 2 Space Tourism of Unit 1 Art Shows and Holidaying of the 4th Form Program for Arts and Technology. This lesson was prepared in collaboration with the ELT inspector Mrs. Lama Atwi, and its main objective is to enable you to write an argumentative article on the topic of space tourism by the end of the lesson. Are you ready? So let's get started. Look at the picture and answer the questions. What do you think the job of this man is? Pay attention to the background and particularly the word NASA. So, this man could be an astronaut or a crew member of a spacecraft or shuttle going on suborbital flights. As you can see, the word suborbital is an adjective used to describe a rocket, etc., having a flight path that is less than a complete orbit of the Earth. This adjective starts with sub, which is a prefix, and it means less than. So, the adjective orbital means a complete tour around the globe, whereas suborbital means less than a complete tour. So, let's continue our guessing. This man could also be a technician at a spaceport, for example. Now let's find out the answer together. He is in fact a mechanical engineer working with the NASA. Now, do you know his name? You must have heard about him. He's called Mohammed Abid, and he is Tunisian. He is a Tunisian mechanical engineer working with the NASA. Now, Mohammed Abid has become very famous recently, and that's why he has been interviewed by different TV channels. So look at the screenshot below and answer the questions. Why was Mohammed Abid interviewed by the news TV channel France 24? Think about it. Let's see. He is in fact taking part in a mission by the NASA to explore planet Mars. Now, what is the main objective of missions like the one he is participating in? Yes, it's space exploration. And we mean by space exploration, studying forms of life or observing physical phenomena, for example, weightlessness. As you can see on the picture, the crew members are floating in the air, feeling no weight or no attachment to Earth, that is, zero gravity. Now, do you think that astronauts are the only people who travel to space? In other words, is space travel limited to scientific exploration? Let's see. Look at the pictures below and guess what is common between these two figures. Here is Dennis Tito, US engineer and businessman, and here is Anusha Ansari, US engineer and businesswoman. So you notice that both of them are American and both of them work in the field of business. So why are they wearing spacesuits then? Let's see together. Dennis Tito is the first space tourist. Anusha Ansari is the first female space tourist. That is the first woman to travel to space in the year 2006. So, let's have an idea about the history of space tourism together in the second part. So, here is a timeline on which you can see different points in time or time intervals. You have different paragraphs and titles marking the major events in this history, in the history of space tourism. For example, from the year 1960s to from the 1960s to the 1970s, we talk about the space race. In 2001, first paying spaceflight passenger. From 2002 to 2009, the first group of space tourists. And from 2010 onwards, towards establishing a space tourism industry. So I would like you to study the following timeline carefully and then answer the questions. Have some time to do it, and then we'll be back. Back. Let's check together. Question A. How did the space race between the US and the Soviet Union pave the way or prepare for the beginning of space tourism? The answer is in the first paragraph. Let's see together. By improving the space flight capabilities, by making them more performing, in other words. Now, question B, why did Dennis Tito refuse to be called a space tourist? The answer is in the second paragraph. Because he thinks it is unfair to be called so, seeing the intensive training. Now, question C, what makes the new space race a near possibility? The answer is in the fourth paragraph. Let's see together. It's the competition between the companies, and here we mention two of them, SpaceX and Virgin Galactic. We are still with the timeline. Find words that plainly mean the same as the words given to you. So, in paragraph 1, you have to find the word meaning fight, argument, confrontation. The word is a noun, and it is in the first paragraph. So, is the word face-off. Now B, find in paragraph 3 an expression meaning a few, a small number of, or a couple of. Then C, find in paragraph 3 an adjective which means rich, well-to-do. Remember, Dennis Tito is a well-to-do businessman. D, find in paragraph 4 a word which means strong position in a business, and it is a noun. Is the word foothold. E, find in paragraph 4 a word, an adjective, meaning becoming known. Notice that becoming ends in ing, so you are going to find a word that ends in ing as well. In paragraph 4, it's the word emergent. Then, same paragraph, an adjective which means not probable. Is the adjective unlikely. Now, unlikely means not probable or improbable. What do you notice? Both words start with a negative prefix. So, could you find another word that is built the same way in paragraph 2? It's the word unfair, opposite of fair. So, by starting certain adjectives with a negative prefix, we get their opposites. So, let's practice together. Responsible, opposite of irresponsible. Credible, opposite of incredible. Imaginable, unimaginable. Legal, illegal. Connected, disconnected. Perfect, imperfect. Normal, abnormal. Existent, non-existent. So we had an overview about the history of space tourism, okay, in general. Now let's be more specific and focus on the experience of Anousheh Ansari, the first female space tourist in 2006. So read the following extracts, adapted from interviews with her, and then answer the questions. Question 1. Circle the most suitable alternative. Anousheh's reply stressed the importance of believing in good luck, one's dreams, business. Of course, the reply stressed the importance of believing in one's dreams. We continue. Second question. Underline the advantages of space tourism mentioned in Anousheh's replies, and then write these advantages in your own words. In the first bubble, Anousheh said, an experience that has changed my life. So we can say it was a life-changing experience. In the second bubble, she mentioned another advantage. Seeing it in real life was even more majestic and totally worth it. So it is a breathtaking view of the Earth from space. She also said, it put things into perspective. In other words, it changes one's perspective and how one sees things. I think of my personal decisions' impacts on a global level. She means this experience develops one's awareness of being a global citizen. And policymakers may be deeply moved by such a powerful experience. It means it encourages the leaders of different countries to work together for the best interest of the globe, not just their own countries. Question 3. Think of other advantages of space tourism and add them to the list. We can say, it's an exciting, more than exciting, it's a thrilling adventure. It's an opportunity to experience weightlessness and to participate in scientific experiments and help advance space research. Now, pick out a sentence in the second bubble showing that Anusha's dream of traveling to space is not a recent one. So let's see together. I started dreaming of going into outer space when I saw photographs of the planet as a child. So it was a childhood dream and it came true. Now focus on the first two verbs in the first part of the sentence. What do you notice? The first verb is start. The second is dreaming. So verb plus ing. We move on to the next question. Pick out a sentence in the first bubble this time having a similar structure. We mean verb plus ing. Let's see together. I never stopped believing in that dream. Verb stop plus ing. So you notice that certain verbs are followed by verb plus ing. Do you know other ones? Let's see together. Here is a list. Stop, enjoy, dislike, admit, consider, miss, finish, mind, imagine, deny, involve, postpone, delay, suggest, regret, avoid, practice, and risk. All those verbs can be followed by verb plus ing. So let's check your understanding through this next short exercise. Put the bracketed verbs in the right tense and or form to get full sentences. Of course, you have to pay attention to the time expressions. Sentence 1. Anusha looked. Looked is a verb in the past. After it comes the conjunction and. So we need a parallel structure here. You know that the verb enjoy is followed by verb plus ing. So Anusha looked outside and enjoyed watching the Earth from space. Sentence 2. Even now, the word now is underlined. She, not to regret, negative form. Regret is followed by verb plus ing. So even now, she doesn't regret going on this space ride. Sentence 3. She, verb to stop, write in her space blog a long time ago. When she was in space, she used to write in her space blog. So the action is over in the past. She, stop, verb to stop, is followed by verb plus ing. So she stopped writing in her space blog a long time ago. Now, I would like you to compare between this third sentence and the coming one. In sentence 3, we have the verb stop plus verb plus ing. It means she no longer writes in her space blog. She stopped altogether, completely. Now, she stopped to write an entry in her space blog. In this sentence, we have stop, verb stop, plus to, plus base form. Here we talk about the purpose for interrupting the activity. She stopped in order to write an entry in her space blog. Okay, so you notice that the verb stop can be followed by verb plus ing and followed by to plus base form with two different meanings. Now, do you think that all the people agree with Anusha Ansari that traveling to space or space tourism is a positive experience? What do you think? Of course, there will always be people who are in favor of space tourism. We call them supporters, advocates. They do believe in the benefits, the advantages, and the blessings of this experience. And others who are opposing or criticizing space tourism, and we call them opponents. They believe in the harms, the disadvantages, and the risks related to space tourism. So what might those harms or disadvantages be? Let's see together. There may be dangers or hazards related to crashes or accidents leading to death and or leading to injury, so it could be a one-way trip. The high prices, that is wasting or squandering money that could be used to solve urgent problems on Earth like poverty and famine. The health issues caused by being in space, like muscle atrophy, and this condition results from the absence of activity for a long time. Vomiting, nausea, exposure to radiation as well. And the additional burden to the astronauts who have to guide space tourists instead of focusing fully on their mission, which is a scientific one. Now, we talked about space tourism from different perspectives. We saw the advantages and some drawbacks. So now it's your turn to write about this issue. So here is the topic. Space tourism has always been a controversial issue. Some people think it is worth the try, while others believe that it is an unwise idea. Write a 12-line argumentative article for a teen online magazine in which you express your personal viewpoint about the topic. So whenever you have a topic in front of you, after reading and understanding it and underlining the keywords, you have to identify certain key features, which are the genre, in this case an argumentative article in an online magazine, the audience, here you are writing to teenagers, and the purpose, which is expressing your opinion about the topic of space tourism. So you are required to write an argumentative article. You start your article with a title that should be catchy, drawing the reader's attention to your ideas. And then an introduction in which you introduce the topic and you state your opinion. Then you move on to the body. If you are for, you write one paragraph. If you are against, you write one paragraph. And if you are neutral, you write two paragraphs, one for and one against. Of course, you start each paragraph with a topic sentence, and then you present your arguments and examples. When you finish with the body part, you move on to the conclusion, in which you restate your opinion and you might give advice, as you may warn or encourage. Here it depends on your point of view. Now, in your writing, you are going to reinvest the words that we have seen together throughout the lesson. So here are the words: space race, foothold, face-off, squandering money, a one-way trip, hazards, experience weightlessness, the thrilling experience of space travel, a new perspective. Then you move on to the first step in writing, which is brainstorming or generating ideas, that is thinking of arguments for space tourism and against space tourism. Here are some examples. Once you jot down your notes, you are going to move on to the second step and organize your ideas from the least important to the most important, or the other way round. You can also organize them from the general to the specific. Then, to express your opinion, you use, for example, to my mind, I firmly believe that, I am of the opinion that, I am in favor of, I agree with the viewpoint that, I don't see eye to eye with people who think that. You will definitely need linkers of enumeration, like to begin with, first, second, third, last but not least. Linkers of addition, like moreover, besides, furthermore, in addition, added to that, not only, but also. Linkers of contrast, especially when you develop 2 points of view, like however, nevertheless, despite plus noun or verb plus ing, though, whereas, on the other hand, and contrary-wise. To express cause, use because of, due to, result, as a result, hence, consequently, therefore, and that's why, etc. Now, as you are not here with us to write the first draft, we suggest this sample written by one of your friends. I would like you to read it carefully and you try to pinpoint the different mistakes or the missing parts. So here we go. We are back. Now, what do you notice when we talked about the different parts of an article? We said that we should start it with a title. So, what do you think? The title is missing in this writing. So, we suggest space tourism, you say, as an example. Now, line 1, focus on the word many. As you can see, it comes after a full stop at the beginning of a new sentence. So, the word many must be capitalized, of course. Now, many people think that this idea is a total squander of money and a risky business. Others see it as futuristic and very rewarding. What do you notice? There is a contrast between the two ideas. We cannot express contrast through moreover, so we need to change this linker with a linker of contrast, which is however. We move on to the body part. We concentrate on the first sentence. It would be thrilling to feel weightless and observing. To feel and observing. We need a parallel structure, so to feel and observe planet Earth from the outer space. Now, next line, human endeavors. Endeavors who? Endeavors something, so endeavors which cross the borders and take people out of the comfort zone. Now, the word scientific is not spelled correctly. We need to write it S-C. It is spelled S-C. Now, we move on to the conclusion. Rather than is spelled T-H-A-N. Now, you notice that the student talked about the advantages of space tourism. Now, it's your turn to develop the opposite point of view. So, space tourism has always been a controversial issue. Some people think it is worth a try. However, you are of the opinion of those who consider it to be an unwise idea. So write a 12-line argumentative article for a teen online magazine in which you explain your point of view. So you are going to follow the same steps seen earlier, And once you have your first draft, you can exchange with a classmate or refer back to your teacher for feedback. Now, let's wrap up and see the main learning points seen in today's lesson. I can now write an argumentative article about the topic of space tourism. Form the opposite of adjectives by adding a negative prefix. Use the structure verb plus ing appropriately. And my new words are suborbital, weightlessness, spaceport, a couple of, well-to-do, immersion, foothold, and face-off. With this, we come to the end of the lesson. Thank you very much for your attention. See you again in a coming lesson. Bye-bye.